Coverage on the crisis at Arizona's border continues right now. Our crews have spent the last few days in Yuma and Nogales hearing from locals about the crisis at their front doors.
And one of the questions that we've all been asking deals with relief. When might some of these communities see the help that they're asking for? 12 News journalist Brenda Lipinski is in Nogales. But first, we want to start with 12 News Today and AZ anchor Allison Rodriguez, who is in Yuma live right now. Hi, Allison.
Good evening, Caribe and Mark. That's right. A lot of leaders here I spoke to say they have been waiting for funding to come their way. They've been asking for it from the federal government. And we have some news now. We have learned $55 million is expected to come to Arizona. And a portion of that money is supposed to come here to Yuma County. But leaders I've spoke to here say, well, that's a start. It's still a long way to go to get back what they lost during the height of the border crisis. Yuma County is the nation's leading supplier for leafy greens from October to April.
It's an important agricultural commodity.
There are miles and miles of farms all the way up to our country's edge. Vice Chairman of the Yuma County Board of Supervisors, Jonathan Lyons, says safety guidelines are strict and farmers lost lots of money during the height of the border crisis.
When we have any unauthorized entry into any field, we actually have to plow that under, get rid of it so that nothing is contaminated.
He estimates losses exceeded $1 million. And that's just one way what's happening at our southern border has broad impacts. Yuma Mayor Douglas Nichols tells me it's the city and county that are left to figure out what happens next a year after Title 42 ended.
Yuma doesn't have the resources that Tucson has or that Phoenix has.
Stretching city resources like fire crews and EMTs thin.
When one unit, whether it's from San Luis or the Cocopah-Somerton area or Yuma, moves to go to respond at the border, everyone else's unit shifts around to make sure that there's coverage for our cities.
Helping to treat migrants in need of medical care, Yuma Regional Medical Center spent millions that haven't been paid back, according to Lyons.
We still have unreimbursed expenses that exceed $26 million.
And while the city and county wait for that money, business does seem to be booming in other parts at our southern border. The San Luis Port of Entry is a lifeline to the businesses here on the Arizona side. And I spoke to those who cross every day back and forth. They tell me the perception is it is dangerous living here in a border town, but the reality is much different.
I think it's safe. This is a safe place, and the police is pretty good.
Aron Colosio is a collector. He crosses often from San Luis, Arizona to San Luis, Mexico, and says his family in other states hear stories of large migrant releases and high crime here.
Oh, me dicen, hey, how's the situation over there? How's the crime in San Luis? So, well, I can tell you, my mom, she goes to McDonald's every day. She walks the whole town. I'm serious. Yeah. Everybody knows her. She's 86, like I say, that tells you, she feels pretty safe.
And it's questions like that even the Yuma County Chamber of Commerce Executive Director has to answer.
Whenever there's one of those national news stories, our office gets flooded with phone calls. Is Yuma still safe? Are there migrants, roaming the streets? Can I still, feel safe walking around downtown Yuma?
She says the answer is yes, and Mayor Nichols echoes that.
Our border communities, particularly Yuma, San Luis, and Somerton, are very safe communities. We're not overrun with crime. We're not in fear of our lives. There's a very regular life happening here.
And that's true when you talk to so many, as they are called, humans who live here. They say this is kind of just another day. They're moving on with their lives. I want to go back to that funding right now. I mentioned the $55 million coming to Arizona from FEMA. Well, about $9 million of that is going to be coming here to Yuma County. So once that was announced, I reached out to Lyons earlier today and asked him who specifically is getting that money. He told me it's the person who's been working, basically the non-government organization, to help move migrants out of Yuma once they're processed and get them to other cities where they need to go. As far as the cities, the hospital, as well as more of the farmers that we just talked about, he doesn't think any of them are going to get a penny of that money. Now, again, this is just one portion of the border that we're following here for you. I want to send you over now to Nogales, Arizona. That's where 12 News journalist Brenda Lipinski is there right now. And she has been there for the last several days. Brenda, Teresa, you are also covering the immigration portion of this, but what border agents are doing to try and stop drugs from entering our country, and this all ties into immigration as well.
Yes, that's right, Allison. And today, the Drug Enforcement Administration says that fentanyl is the greatest and most urgent drug threat in America. And here in Nogales, they're using technology to help agents find those drugs.
Nogales is the largest port of entry in Arizona.
It's a normal day for Customs and Border Protection. 1,500 commercial trailers pass through the Mariposa port of entry every day.
X-ray technology.
Edith Serrano with CBP says they use multi-layered tools, including dogs, interviews, and these scanners are giant X-ray machines to help find things being smuggled in.
We're seeing it, yes. Are we the #1 state for the movement of fentanyl? Yes. And other hard narcotics? Correct.
Prompting concern from families who have lost loved ones from the drug.
The border needs to be stopped or shut because we have a superhighway from Nogales into Arizona.
Teresa Guerrero lost her son to fentanyl in 2021, and now she's calling for Border Patrol and law enforcement to do more to stop the flow of the drug.
Our kids are in the ground or in an urn. They're never coming back. I'll never see Jacob live past 31 years old.
Yes, we totally understand that over 100 and some odd thousand people have died in the past year or year and a half. We recognize that, and we're putting all our efforts.
Francisco Burrola with HSI says they're using intelligence and collaborations to take down fentanyl operations.
We go after the head of the snake when we talk about Chapo Guzman, when we talk about Ovidio, when we talk about these heads of organizations that are actually moving the product through our ports of entry. It's leveraging intelligence. It's leveraging organizations that have information on how they're secreting the fentanyl within their cars.
Working to stop the drug trade all while the numbers of migrants coming into the U.S. has surged.
Last year, we apprehended about 373,000 people in Tucson. This year, at this pace, we'll probably hit about 700,000 people. 2020, it was 60,000 people. So that's a tenfold increase from 2020 to where we are now.
Adding to the strain on resources.
All those things take the agents away from their job, their duty, which is to protect the United States from dangerous people and dangerous things. This is not our mission, is not this mission of, bringing people in and entering them into the immigration system. We can't do our interdiction and enforcement mission when we're doing this other mission.
In the horizon, NBC is reporting that 56 scanners that were in warehouses will be installed along the U.S.-Mexico border within the next 2 years, all thanks to funding in the amount of $200,000. Allison?
Mariposa Port of Entry is one of the busiest, if not the busiest, here in Arizona. So such important work the Border Patrol is doing there. I want to let you know that our coverage does not end here. Coming up for you at 10 o'clock, we're going to talk a little bit more about solutions. I spoke with the Yuma mayor about what he believes could be a solution to the problem, but it does have to do with the federal government at a time when they say nothing is really working that well in D.C. Well, he says he's gone there, he's had personal conversations, and he believes he at least has one solution to a part of this problem that is affecting the city of Yuma. We're going to have more on that coming up for you at 10 o'clock. But for now, Caribe, I'm going to send it back to you in Phoenix.
All right, Allison Rodriguez and Brenda Lipinski with our continuing coverage at the border. Ladies, thank you very much. We'll see you soon. Well, while the border policy is a very local issue here in Arizona, most border policy comes from Washington, D.C. And right now, the president, Joe Biden's administration is expected to announce a new rule for asylum seekers. So here's how the current asylum process works. Anyone seeking protection is given an initial screening and then allowed to continue with the process, even if they have a criminal record, and then eventually will be deemed ineligible. Well, right now, they would still get to go before a judge who would make that decision. Now, the Biden administration wants to change that. Under the new rule, Customs and Border Protection officers would be allowed to turn away migrants with criminal records before they get that initial screening. The rule would only affect migrants who would never be granted asylum protections, turning them away much earlier in the process. And 12 News has continuing coverage of the crisis at Arizona's southern border. You can watch the coverage tonight on 12 News at 10, as well as online at 12news.com and, of course, our free 12 News app.